What's up, everyone? Justin here, back with a new video. I don't know if I'm calling it a new countdown video or let's talk about it, but it's not a countdown. So I haven't really thought about what topic or what playlist this video will be added to. Probably let's talk about it. So let's talk about it. The best, in my opinion, my favorite and the best fighting video games. The best fighting games. If you didn't know, I'm a big video game fan. If you couldn't tell, you probably don't go on my channel or watch it. I have a ton of video game uploads that I play. I absolutely love video games. I have ever since I played the first ever Nintendo NES back in 1988 when I was a small kid, like 4 years old. First ever game I played. It came with the NES, Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I still have the Duck Hunt gun somewhere. But anyways, these are the best fighting games, in my opinion, that are video games. The best fighting games, again. I absolutely love video games. They can definitely, if you're depressed, if you got depression in your life, they can absolutely take you out of a depression, in my opinion. They can help with your mental health. They can help with hand-eye coordination. They can help with your brain and make your fucking brain think to what to do in a game and how to get out of something in a game. So seriously, all those critics, I don't know what I love more, video games or movies. I like them about the same. I definitely will tell you I can't live without them, for sure. Yeah, now let's get to some of the critics and stupid people or groups that like to bash video games or bash violent video games and say they're really bad, and or doctors, therapists, psychologists, I don't know, but a lot of people like to blame video games and the violence in video games on how bad society is. Stuff like that. Like games that probably definitely have influenced morons to act out and do stupid shit that you should not do in the real world. That's why video games are so great. It's a fantasy land. You're playing a fantasy. You're living out a fantasy through a video game. And you're getting to do shit in a video game that you're not supposed to do in real life because it's against the fucking law. But yeah, a lot of games like Grand Theft Auto definitely have been targeted by critics. And yeah, again, a lot of stupid, immature teenagers copy what they did in Grand Theft Auto. They try to copy it by stealing cars. That's their problem. They're morons. If you want to steal a car, you should go to jail for a long time. But yeah, video games and movies for me are some of the greatest escape and entertainment there can be. So before I give some of my list of the best fighting games, in my opinion, let's see what some of the experts on these websites like IGN say that are, in their opinion, the top 10 best fighting games of all time. Now, some of the games on my list are not like straight up fighting, like the format of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat Tekken. Those games are Virtual Fighter. Those games are straight up, in my opinion, under the genre of fighting. Those are fighting games. And then there's other genres of fighting games that have a ton of action in them. Some fighting in them. And then there's beat 'em ups, which I fucking love old school beat 'em ups. And I love new school beat 'em ups. They're great. They're so fun to play. If you don't know what a beat 'em up is, it's like Streets of Rage. That's a beat 'em up. But yeah, there's a ton of great fighting action games that I have on a list. But according to IGN, when was this put out? 2023, they put this out, this article, in August of 23, their top 10 fighting games of all time. And maybe some on here are not on my list, probably. There's so many fighting games, I don't think I can mention them all. But here is number 10 is Mortal Kombat from 2011. Mortal Kombat 9. I don't think I ever played it, to be honest. I believe my brother has it for PS2, I think. For computer, my brother had a Mortal Kombat 9, I think. Or he's playing it on the computer, not a console. But I think, yeah, Mortal Kombat 9, I watched a lot of it. The gameplay, it was pretty damn good. But I do have a Mortal Kombat game on my list of top fighting games. There's a few Mortal Kombats that were really, really good from different decades and different consoles. Number 9, Skullgirls. I never heard of it, never even played it. But that's their number 9. Number 8, Virtual Fighter 5. I never played it. Killer Instinct. I played that, but for Super Nintendo, not a newer one. Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom, not Comcast. Let me start over. Number 6, top fighting games on IGN. Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3. I don't know if I played that, but I played arcade versions of Marvel versus Capcom, and they were pretty damn good. They're on my channel in my arcade video games playlist. Or maybe it's X-Men versus Capcom. I think it's X-Men versus Capcom that I have in my arcade playlist. Check it out. Number 5 is the King of Fighters 11, 13. I never played it, but I have played King of Fighters. Dragon Ball's Fighter Z. I've yet to play that, but I will. I think it's on PlayStation Plus, or I don't know. I think it is, or I have it on Game Boy Advance, I think. There's a lot of Dragon Ball Z games, a lot. But some of their fighting games are really good on Dragon Balls. I was never into Dragon Ball Z growing up, and I don't even know what year they started, but I was never a fan of that cartoon. I grew up in the late 80s, so I was a fan of G.I. Joe cartoon, Ninja Turtles cartoon, X-Men in the 90s, and stuff like that. I was not into Dragon Ball Z or Pokemon, but I will play the video games of Dragon Ball Z. Number 3, Tekken 7. I've yet to play it. I have Tekken 6. on my PlayStation 5. I downloaded it. I have yet to play it. Number 2, Guilty Gear Strive. I never heard of it, but it's probably good. Number 1, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I've yet to play that, but I believe that came out for Super Nintendo at one point, or arcade. Maybe it's for computer now. I don't know. Maybe it's updated. But Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, I believe, is an old game. I think it's old. Maybe it was remade. I don't fucking know. But I'm going to mention some old school fighting games now that absolutely deserve a mention because they were really great fighting games. Let's go back to Nintendo. The original first ever Nintendo. Double Dragon. Great series of games. Double Dragon. Ninja Gaiden. Great series of games. 1, 2, and 3. Double Dragon, I believe, there's 3 Double Dragons, or 2 of them at least, for Nintendo. For arcade, there's like 2 or 3 Double Dragons I've played. And for Sega Genesis, I think there's a Double Dragon. Or for Super Nintendo, there's Super Double Dragon I've played. It's on my channel in my Super Nintendo playlist. So yeah, the Double Dragons, Ninja Gaidens, Sega Genesis, the best fighting game that I ever played growing up. Streets of Rage, it was awesome. Streets of Rage 2, one of the best fighting games of all time, and beat 'em ups. Also, I played Streets Rage 3 also and Part 1, but growing up I actually had Part 2. I had the cartridge in Part 2. Later on I played Part 1 and 3. There's so many. I don't want to leave any games out that are great fighting games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, really good. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2, the arcade game, damn good. Really good. For Sega and the arcade. I played them all. All the Ninja Turtle games were awesome. Part 1 was weird and wasn't that good. Part 2 was great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, was great. Part 3, the Manhattan Project, was pretty great. Also, for Sega Genesis, they came out with, what was that called? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyper Stone Ice, what the hell is that called? Hyper something. That was a great game. So, I gotta look that up. The Hyper Stone Heist. That's what it was called for Sega Genesis. Great game. There's the cover and the box art. Or the poster of the game. And I believe this game was only for Sega Genesis. Exclusive. It was not for Super Nintendo at the time. Again, there's the poster cover art of the box. Great game. Really fun. It is a fighting game, but it's also a beat 'em up. So the Ninja Turtle series, great. Even Ninja Turtles for Game Boy Advance was good. And for recently, last year, they came out with a new Ninja Turtles game on PlayStation 4 and 5. It was called Shredder's Revenge. I own it. It was really fun to play. Really good. Brought back great nostalgia memories. So, what else? Final Fight. Great fighting game. Final Fight 1 and 2 and 3. Arcade and Super Nintendo. Gosh, it's hard to. I didn't write down all these games, but there's so many fighting games to mention. Street Fighter series, great. God, there's just so many old school fighting games. Mortal Kombat series. First ever Mortal Kombat was legendary and got banned. They tried to ban it. Stupid politicians putting their nose in the damn business of video games and trying to censor games. Calling it one of the most violent video games of all time because of the fatalities that were on the Sega Genesis and blood was in the game. Super Nintendo, by the way, released Mortal Kombat with green blood. What the fuck was that? That was stupid of them. I watched a documentary on the video game Console Wars, Sega Genesis against Nintendo, and Super Nintendo made a big mistake. When they released Mortal Kombat, they decided it's not going to have red blood. How stupid of them. But, yeah, Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 were great. And then they had Ultimate Mortal Kombat. And then N64 came out with Mortal Kombat. Those were damn good. So I'm going to just go back to looking up the top fighting games because maybe there's some that I can't think of. I mentioned Tekken, Killer Instinct, definitely Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, some of the best fighting games of all time. Soul Calibur, I've yet to play it. Soul Calibur 6, but I do have it downloaded. Let's see here. Dead or Alive is a really good fighting game. I have not mentioned. Super Street Fighter 2, really good. And Street Fighter 2 for Sega Genesis. Shinobi, really good beat 'em up fighting game. Shinobi for Sega Genesis 1. I don't know if there's part 2, but Shinobi 1 and Shinobi 3, really good action fighting game. Gosh, there's so many to choose from. Let's see if this someone put out a top 25 best fighting games article. I never heard of that game. I don't even know if that's real. But anyways, for the PC. Under Night in Birth. Never heard of that. But that's a fighting game for PS4 and the PC. A lot of these games I never fucking heard of. War of the Monsters. I actually played that for PS2. It was really fun. ARMS, I don't know what that is. For Nintendo Switch, I never played a Nintendo Switch. I'm a PlayStation guy. I do not own an Xbox either. So I'm a PlayStation guy. Growing up, I was a Nintendo and Sega Genesis guy. And then I got what I have after Sega Genesis. I got an N64. I absolutely loved it. And then after N64, I got a Dreamcast, a Sega Dreamcast. I loved it, but they didn't have that many games. After the Dreamcast, I'm just trying to think in my head all the damn systems and consoles I had. After the Dreamcast, I believe I got a GameCube, I think. Friend of mine, a childhood friend growing up, he got a PlayStation 1 at the time for Christmas, and I had an N64. But I had a dream. After Dreamcast, I got a GameCube, and then after the GameCube, I got a PS2. And after PS2, I got a PS3. After 3, I got a 4. After 4, and now I got a 5. I still have my PS3 and 4 and 5, by the way. They're not even worth selling, unless I could try to sell them on eBay. But because I never play my PS3 anymore. I still have some games, but I don't play it. And that's great. The PS5, you can put in a lot of PS4 discs in the 5 and they play them. You can't do that with the PS3 games and a 5. They won't play. UFC 5, the UFC games are really fun to play. I had a UFC game, going back to Dreamcast. I actually had a UFC game, and it was pretty damn fun. But I have not played the newer UFC games. I did play Dead or Alive 6. That was on their best fighting games list. So, Virtual Fighter, I have played that. Part 2, though. So, they got Tekken 7 on their list. Soul Calibur 6. I will talk about Injustice, the DC game, fighting game, very soon. There is an Injustice 2, by the way, which I gotta play that because I loved part 1. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. I actually got that downloaded off PlayStation Plus because I subscribed to it. Mortal Kombat 1 was remade as a video game last year. Is put out. It's for PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch. Street Fighter 6 also, I believe, came out last year in 2023. Super Smash Brothers. I have played that for N64. It was really fun. So now I'm going to get to my list of best fighting games that I've played. So it's not a beat 'em up. It's not a fighting game like Mortal Kombat where you go one-on-one. But to me, it's still a fighting game. Evil West. Hell of a game. I got it off PlayStation Plus. It was my Raven. Fell off the shelf. Anyways. What was I saying? Evil West, great fighting game, hell of a action game. It was really fun to play, and I enjoyed it. If you're into fighting games, find Evil West and play it. Avengers, hell of a game, great game for PS4 and 5. Now, Avengers is more. I don't know if I have it here. I have a few games here to show you, but yeah, it's not here. But I'll do another video games video coming up. My favorite and best, in my opinion, the best video games of all time that I've ever played. But yeah, Avengers, great game, great story in it, and a lot of great fighting in it. It's awesome. You can play as Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man, Lady Thor, Iron Man, Captain America. Who else am I leaving out? Kamala Khan, or whatever the hell her name is, where her arms stretch out. I forget her name. but she's really fun to play with also. And yeah, Avengers is a great story fighting superhero game if you're into superheroes or comic books. If you're a Marvel guy, maybe you're a DC guy. I don't know, but I like both. I like both characters in DC and Marvel. So yeah, Street Fighter 5 and 6, really good games. Guardians of the Galaxy, again, it's a Marvel like story and fighting game. It's really good. I like it a lot. A lot of great action and fighting in it. Gosh, go. No, why was I going to call it Avengers? It's not Avengers. It's DC characters. Gotham Knights, really good story and fighting game. Another just epic one that Gotham Knights is good, but it's not as good as Arkham Batman. Arkham, yeah, why can't I think of the name? Batman Arkham Knight. Great fucking game. Awesome fighting in it, great story in it. And I like Gotham Knights too, but it's not as good as Batman Arkham Knight. I love games with Harley Quinn in them. She's in a little bit. She's in Batman Arkham Knight, and she's in Gotham Knights a little bit. I would like to have a game where you can play a lot as Harley Quinn. Maybe you can do that in the Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League. I've yet to play it, but I'm going to get it eventually. They should make their own game of just Harley Quinn. Come up with a long story in the game for her, and I don't know. I think she deserves her own game. Injustice. Gods Among Us. Great fucking game. Hell of a fighting game. I loved it when I started playing it. It came out like 10 years ago, I think, or 8 years ago. But Injustice, Gods Among Us. Great fucking game. Has every DC character in it to pick, to fight with. Joker, Batman, Superman, Harley Quinn, The Flash, Black Adam. Has everybody. Just about. Lex Luthor. And it's an awesome story, too, in between the fighting. I really enjoyed Injustice. Gods Among Us, I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, but I loved it. Injustice 2, great game. I need to play it. I need to buy it. I think it's only $20. What else we got here? Streets of Rage, Part 4, epic. I love that fucking game. I have played it a lot. If you got Streets of Rage 4, buy the downloadable content. Buy it. Mr. X Survival Mode. That is awesome. That survival mode. I don't know how the fuck anybody can get to level 50, but I've tried and tried. I can only get up to about level 40 in survival mode of Streets of Rage 4. Streets of Rage 4 is such a great fighting beat 'em up game. I hope they come out with a part 5. Just keep fucking remaking them. I love beat 'em ups, and I will always play them. Streets of Rage 4, again, one of my favorite games and fighting games of all time. What else we got here? Here's a few more that I have. Great fucking game. Great fighting in it. Great graphics. Great fatalities. Great story in it. I've been playing it recently. Mortal Kombat 11. I've been playing it a lot again recently. I got it like 3 to 4 years ago. Great fucking game. And I prefer buying the discs of games. I don't like just buying a game and downloading it. I like having the box and the disc. This is not fighting, but I get it's like a survival horror genre survival game. There it is. It's not fighting though, but thought I'd share it anyways. I haven't played it that much. This it's not fighting, but it is action. Pretty good game, Predator. Sadly, when I bought this, I did not know you needed a PlayStation Plus subscription. I didn't know, and I couldn't even play it until last year when I got a PlayStation Plus subscription. Hunt or be hunted. You can play as a predator or hunt him. I actually paid to buy the Arnold Schwarzenegger character from the Predator movie. I paid for him to buy him to get his voice and his character in the game. Why? Because I'm a mark for Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Predator movie. So there it is, Predator. I wish they just made a Predator game with a story mode instead of just hunting them. But it is a damn fun game to play as Predator. It's pretty awesome and great graphics for a PS4 game. This is not, this is more action. It's not a fighting game. I would say it's an action game, or I guess a beat 'em up if you're just killing everybody with a gun instead of fighting. It's a beat 'em up with a gun where you're just blowing criminals' heads off. I thought I'd share it anyways. RoboCop Rogue City. Hell of a game. I loved it when I played it. Awesome story. Awesome graphics. And a lot of nostalgia. If you're a fan of the movie RoboCop, it's a great game to own. And the story mode is really long. It took me like 7, 8, or I don't know, it took me probably 12 days or 10 days to complete it. Really fun. I'll definitely be playing it again. But it's more of an action game. This is fighting, boxing. Also, let me mention a boxing game from Sega Genesis. Evander Holyfield's I think it's called Real Deal Boxing, but Evander Holyfield's Boxing, really fun boxing game for Sega. And then we had Ready to Rumble. That boxing game was fun. Ready to Rumble 1 and 2. Check them out in my N64 playlist. Also, Knockout Kings was a really good boxing game. Here's another good fighting boxing game. Big Rumble Creed Champions Boxing. There's Creed's son. By the way, the original Creed, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Was a great actor. Great in the Rocky series. He was in Rocky 1 to 4. And he's in this. There's Apollo Creed right there as a character. That's really awesome. You can box and play as him. You can play as Rocky Balboa. What the hell's the Russian's name? I forget his name. But he's in it. Mr. T's in it. It's Clubber Lang. There's Creed again. The son of Creed. I've seen the movies Creed 1 and 2. I've yet to watch Creed 3. I keep forgetting it's came out. But I've definitely seen the Rocky series multiple times over and over. Rocky 1 to 5 and Rocky Balboa. Great movies in my opinion. A great franchise, the Rocky series. But this is a great fighting game. Really fun. If you get a chance, pick it up and buy it. It's really fun. And I have it available to watch what I've played of it in my PlayStation playlist. This is a great fighting game for PS5. Really, really good fighting game. It's like a beat 'em up. And it's awesome. Says, is one life enough to know kung fu? You have one day and countless enemies on your way. Time will be the price to pay. Great game. Really good. Really fun. I've yet to beat it, but I got to like level 8, I think. Another great fighting game on that I downloaded from PlayStation Plus, PSP, whatever the hell it's called. Midnight Fight Express. Great fighting game. Has 50 fucking levels. 50 levels of fighting. Has a construction site, a club, a casino, a subway, train station you can fight in. Parking lots you fight in. It's fighting on top of a semi-truck. Fighting on a jet ski boat. It's awesome. Midnight Fight Express. Hell of a beat-em-up fighting game. This one is awesome. One of my favorites. Absolute favorites from PS4. The Ninja Gaiden Master Collection. All 3 games. They're great, great fighting games. Great beat-em-ups. Great stories in them. At least Part 3 has a lot of a story. And Part 1 kind of does. Part 2, I think, has a story too. Who made this game? Tecmo, or however the hell you say their name. Tecmo. They made a hell of a game. This is one of the best fighting games I ever played. All 3 of them. Part 1, 2, and 3. They're awesome. Really good. Ninja Gaiden 3 is really awesome. Awesome. Final fighting game I got to share. I have yet to play most of it. I played like 20% of the game, maybe. Or 10%. Lost Judgment. Really good fighting game. I enjoyed it, but I stopped playing it to give my PS5 space for other games. But I'll play it again sometime. Really good fighting game. Beat 'em up. Came with this sticker too. So there's my best list of fighting games. Again, going back to Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Streets of Rage. Probably the best fighting games in my opinion, and definitely this Ninja Gaiden for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and this. Just some of my favorite fighting games. Hope you enjoyed this video of the best fighting video games. What's your list? What's some of your favorite fighting video games? Tell me in the comments what are some of your favorite fighting games in the comments. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Bye for now, everybody.